Welcome to the Mystic Podcast channel. Yay!
Mystic
And
Podcast.
everybody goes, yay! And we have JC with us
Yay.
today.
Hello.
In voice, but
JC.
not in physical. But that's okay. That's okay. How is everybody? JC, how are you?
I'm okay. I don't have a camera today because we've been moving stuff around in the basement and they've got stuff piled up everywhere. I just didn't want to show off the mess.
That's all right. No big deal. No, nobody cares.
Right there.
I've heard that before. Seems like
Toilet paper.
Cat. Now, see, this is where I work.
With the Elsa spread.
This is where I work. So I'm always going to have a backdrop because this is where I work. I mean, this is where I work. So what's new?
Nothing really. I'm same as ever.
Same as ever.
Yeah. Not much ever changes.
Well, for everybody that doesn't know, JC, now JC is a member of our Central States Paranormal Group. You're one of the founding members, right?
As it would happen.
That's right.
Yeah. So the OGs, one of the OGs.
Yeah, we haven't done that for a while, so hopefully
it's ridiculous.
Hopefully we can organize something before too long.
I tell you, there's nowhere to go that doesn't cost $500 to get in there.
Yeah, I know. Everybody started charging, and it's just kind of dumb.
I mean, I get it, especially if you're like a big building. I mean, you got to keep that. You got to keep it safe if you're going to let people in there, and that costs money.
Yeah,
and you got to pay people. You know, there's people involved that you got to pay. But just even trying to find just anywhere, like somebody's haunted house or just anything.
We drove past something the other day. Yesterday. I was with one of my boys, and we drove past somewhere, but I didn't make a big deal out of it. I can't remember what it was. It's somewhere around Liberty, and they had a sign, but I don't remember what it was now.
Could have been a couple things, because didn't the jail down in there somewhere? The old jail's down in there, and then isn't the Boulevard Diner or Winery down there somewhere?
Yeah, it might have been that winery. That sounds like it might have been it.
Yeah, that's like $300, or I don't know. It's like you can have so many people. I don't know if I think there's different ways you can do it with them. I would like to do it though. You can do the Missouri State Penitentiary too.
Huh.
But again, it's like, $300-$500.
Like $500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes it tight, but just being able to, just people calling, people used to call us and be like, man, crap's going on at my house. Come over.
Yeah. And Fort Scott always worked out pretty good for us, and that's free, but it's quite a drive.
Well, and Tommy and I were talking about the barbecue last Saturday. But it's been gutted. I'd love to know if they had any experiences while doing that. Or since. Because
that was pretty fun going up in there.
You know what something like that does for, you go in and start tearing stuff up in a place that's occupied.
Yeah,
sometimes they don't dig it. Yeah, they don't.
They're not into it.
Not into it at all. So, what is this topic this week, Tom?
Right.
What is it?
Hear me?
Can I hear you?
I think he's froze up a little bit on this camera.
Hello?
There he goes.
He can't hear us. He's having technical difficulty. Well, we were going to talk about the Anunnaki this week. Because they're trending again. They're back in the front. People are talking about them again.
Yeah, well, I was looking at them not too long ago, and according to my half-baked calculations, I don't think they're due back for about another 900 years or so. But I was thinking, okay, they're prone to send scouts apparently, if everything's to be believed. So if they're going to prepare a population of a planet for the leaders to come down and say good job by the time they get here, they're going to have to send it out probably, I don't know, I would think several generations ahead of time to get everybody under control and docile, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Because the scuttlebutt, let me tell you the scuttlebutt. The scuttlebutt is they never left.
yeah, well,
I can't read that. Can you read that? I couldn't read that.
what I read was what I understood by the end of this stuff I read from Sitchin was that Enki never left, and I don't know if that implied he died here, because I think they were aging faster while they were here.
Yeah.
Because of something to do with the rotations around the sun makes them age faster here than they did on their planet.
Yeah. Well, and what's going around today is not only did Inky never leave, but there was a whole lot of them that stayed.
Oh.
And they have been behind everything. Everything that is going on globally. This is what people are saying today. Everything that is going on globally is a direct result and a calculated strategy. This is everything going on today. This is exactly what
all the globalism and stuff, right? And all the chaos and
all the chaos, the things going on in the governments, the idea that I mean, think about it. Even if they did age faster, okay? Even if they did age faster, if they made us, they can make more themselves.
Yeah. And they also were able to rejuvenate each other when they died.
And if you're going to do that, then why not just make yourself smaller, more life size, more? Why wouldn't you make yourself more human looking?
Well, I'm not sure they would need to, because they had, when they made a Adamu and Adapa, I guess when they all decided to leave, there was a sect that Enki kept, and he like basically freed them on the planet. And there's also a group, I forgot what they were called, that stayed loyal to Enlil.
Right.
My opinion of that is kind of that it would be they probably would become like the Watchers, that watch us and they check on us and monitor us, which would account for abductions and UFO sightings and everything. They could be the Greys for all I know. I mean, I don't know what they would have looked like, but they might stay in the ocean or on the moon, and stay out of sight where we can't reach them.
Right.
Just come in and check on us, report
back. Where we are today is the Greys are us. The Greys are us. The Greys are not aliens. Well, the Greys are us.
Well, if they are that other sect, they would be really closely related to us like that.
Well, okay, let me be clearer.
Okay.
The Greys are biologically engineered beings. They're the government. They are us, literally, in the literal sense. They are us.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to talk to me about that some more, I think.
Oh. So they're us. They are. Here's the thing. And you know what? Here's why this stuff started making sense to me, even though it is crazy as blank. If we look at Tesla, okay, and we know what Tesla had going on. And when was that? 1900?
Oh, yeah. He had some crazy stuff figured out. And
okay.
He said he was getting information from elsewhere, too. So that was
going in. Yes. That's right. What I'm saying is, as a follower of science and seeing where science is, I am not shocked at all that we are able to make and because I'm not one of these people, I'm going to call it what I would call it. Biologic robot, in a sense.
Like a drone, yeah.
Half biologic, half mechanic. Okay. I do not underestimate our
What,
ability.
cyborg?
Well,
I
like,
don't know. I don't
well,
know.
like,
Whatever.
I look at the Greys like they're drones. Like they're under they're like a group mind that's under the control of something else if they're real.
And as Pete the Scuttlebutt today is, what's going on? It's all part of the misinformation.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that there's so many theories about so many different other theories, and it's all so mixed up that it's hard. And most of that stuff you can see like a little bit of what might be true in all of it, and trying to pull those pieces out of everything, put it all together, is tiresome, and it gets really confusing.
Well, and like I told Tom last week, we were kind of touching on it. I said, here's what I do. I kind of look at everything, I listen to everything, then I watch, because it's my experience that the stuff that ends up being true, those stories keep going.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
like
crap,
the story of the Great Flood and Noah's Ark. Those went through all of the cultures and around the
it
planet.
obviously happened.
Yeah, they couldn't communicate with each other. So
Yeah, it obviously happened. So it's like I just watch, and it's like it'll keep going, and it'll keep going, and all the other stuff is not sustainable, so it'll drop off eventually.
yeah.
But this business about the government, I tell you what, did you watch any of the Senate hearings
So,
on,
well, it depends on the subject, but yeah, I've watched
on the
some.
UAPs?
I only saw a little bit of that one.
A lot of this stuff is coming out, and this is stuff that I've been watching for decades that I'm going, okay, here it is.
Yeah, well, I just saw they released another Navy video from I think 2004, where
Right.
it looked like it might have been those Tic Tac shaped UFOs were coming out of the
Right.
ocean, and they're following those.
Which they testified at the Senate hearing is also us.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's part of why they had the Senate hearings. It wasn't so much as everybody there's UFOs, but it's like, y'all, these
I'm not
people
sure.
got technology that you don't understand.
I'm not sure that. I'm not sure that I believe them though. I think that maybe they say it's us, so it doesn't cause a panic. Because being in the army and working for the government a couple times, I find it really hard to believe that they have something they can maneuver like that, and they don't use it in warfare to just like you could conquer multiple countries in a week with ships that can move that fast. You just load them up with warheads, and
Yeah.
you could just wipe people out if you. I mean, and just the threat of it would probably work.
See, these things wouldn't be the things that they're not big enough to put warheads on. But see, now, are you familiar with Bashar Daryl Anka? I think his last name is Anka. How do you say his last name? Are you familiar with him?
I know the name I could think of similar is David Icke. I don't know if that's
Is it Ike? Or his name's Daryl?
Yeah, it might be somebody else.
He allegedly, and I'm going to say allegedly, I think he does. I believe that he does channel this thing, but whatever. But he channels a alien being named Bashar.
Oh, I think I did see that guy.
Yeah. And I tell you, I don't know. I listen to what he has to say, and I look for validation elsewhere. That's what I do. But he says that, okay, the drones, just lately, just last year, the whole drone thing, right? The orbs followed the drones.
Yeah.
He says the drones were us, and the orbs are them monitoring the thing. That's why we are seeing more things. Things are more coming out because things are getting out of hand. We're circling back
It's becoming way
to
more frequent, and they can't ignore it or lie about all of it.
we're circling back to things are getting out of hand. I don't know, man.
I believe that some of it is probably us, but I don't know how much of it is, because I really think that they would weaponize it immediately if they could.
That makes sense because we're that type of being. What do you think, Tom?
Oh. Now, it was, honestly, I don't trust anything the news tells me. The only time I'm going to
none of
trust
it.
the
Yeah.
news is if it's Walter Cronkite telling me, and he's dead.
Yeah, you can believe everything he says
I
now,
did
Tom.
see where you were talking about orbs following the drones. I did see that on YouTube. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He ain't saying much, but no, I mean, with the orbs, I mean, it's obvious those are orbs following the drones.
Yeah.
It's
No
still, they
question.
really have never answered the question why the drones will fly around the eastern
Oh,
seaboard.
the New Jersey stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't. I saw one. I saw one here on 116 highway going north. Or I'm
Yeah,
sorry, 13 highway
It's
going
a
north.
big one, like they're saying.
I tell you what, it was 4:00 in the morning. Sky was dark out in the fields, so there was no extra light. But there was a moon, so the sky was lit with the
Yeah,
moon.
yeah.
Otherwise, I would probably not been able to see the shape of it because I don't remember any lights being on it. But it was all I can tell you is it reminded me of a VW bus, the old 1970s.
Is that kind of a shape, huh? Like a rounded off square?
Yes. And elongated.
Yeah, or rounded off rectangle.
Yeah, and elongated. And it wasn't very high in the sky. And what I can't figure out about it was where I saw it out my driver's side window. And where it was, I should have seen it cross the highway. I did not see it cross the highway. I did not see it till I looked out my window and bam, there it was in the sky, up against the sky. And it had two things coming off of each side. Again, no lights. So I cannot tell you what the two things were. I want to say they were propeller-ish, but again, I'm not going to say it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The shape of itself was what the shape and the fact that there were no lights.
And was it
And
big like a Volkswagen?
well, that's what I was saying. I'm trying to imagine a tree line. I'm going to guess that it was maybe 50 yards in the sky. Okay. I'm going to 50 yards.
Yeah, like half a football field or so.
So it wasn't high, but it was high. So if I look at that, that would make it the size of maybe I don't know. No, that'd be too small. I don't know. I don't think it would have been as big as a VW bus. I just don't. But I don't know if I'm a good enough judge.
So maybe it was that shape, but maybe
it was that shape for real. It was that shape for real.
Maybe the size of a bug instead of a bus.
I don't know, but elongated. Yeah, but elongated. But it was just, and there was no sound. There was nothing, and it was just mine. It was just going. It was going due west.
You can usually hear those things.
It was going due west, and I tell you what, had I not been, Stevie was in the truck with me, and I was having to get him to work on time. I'd have pulled over. I'd have pulled over and got out and been like trying to figure out what this thing was. All I can say is it was a drone, but here's what I was told. And this is one of those, well, my friend's brother's wife is in the army and her whatever. We had evidently been infiltrated by individuals who had suitcase size nuclear devices.
Dirty bombs.
Okay. And this whole drone thing.
Yeah, they were looking for the signature, right?
They were nothing but they had radar. They had like sensors on them, radar. They were just there to hone in on anything nuclear. Anything nuclear.
Huh.
So they're just scanning
But that still doesn't seem like the kind of technology they would have hidden from us and then released in a giant group like that, and then not told us anything. I mean, I can understand why they wouldn't say they were looking for dirty bombs, but I don't see why that technology would have been hidden.
I don't think the technology itself was hidden. I think because drones have, I mean, heck, I have 2
Well,
drones.
drones that size.
Well, but they're automatically military. See, the scuttle all along was that they weren't aliens. No, I really think, I don't think the majority of people thought they were aliens from the
Well, the
get.
lights I saw in all the videos, they looked like LEDs and stuff. They didn't look like, like lights. They looked like they would if they're just LEDs.
Now, a few videos that I watched, of course, a drone can, a drone can do that. The way they move very differently. But now, when the orbs started coming around, that's when people were like, "Wait a minute." I think they're just getting us used to being surveyed.
Well, I mean, if you ain't used to it by now,
Right? Right? I don't know. I think
No joke.
yeah, for real. I think I really think, I don't think the Anunnaki ever left. I think it's been, I think it started as that initial agenda.
Yeah.
And I think they saw an opportunity to have their own planet. This group, this segregated group, the ones that started.
Yeah. There's another. I think I told Tom before. There's like a Indian folklore tale about a race that came here because
Yeah.
they were rebellious on their home planet, and they sent them here, and it was just like a handful of individuals, and then they kind of like hid themselves and kind of ran things from behind the scenes, which kind of follows along with that in a
It
way.
does. And let me tell you, my experience is a lot of those Indian mythologies, a lot of them come true.
Yeah. They're really symbolic, but yeah, a lot of it is stuff you can point to.
Yeah. It's all going to be symbolic, I guess.
Yeah,
But
well, I mean, everything is. That's like the only way to go through thousands of years in different languages is with symbolism, and
yeah.
hopefully somebody gets the gist of it whenever they come across it later.
Well, science proves it later.
Yeah.
You seen the things about the pyramids, right?
Oh yeah, that was kind of cool, and I always kind of thought that there must be something under there, but I didn't think it was going to be some giant thing that. So it'd be interesting to find out if that's real or not. It's starting to look like it probably is.
Yeah.
I've seen somebody went back there and like kind of confirmed what they said in the first. There's another team that went after the Italian team, and they kind of confirmed what they came up with.
I think that's what it's gonna, and again, we're gonna all sit here and go, "Yep, that's what they've been saying all along."
I think
And
it's a
well,
ground.
remember when they said that the Great Library was under the feet of the Sphinx, and nobody was ever allowed to go in and find out. So so there's probably something under that too.
What, Tom? What was you saying, Tom?
I'm gonna say with the shafts going underneath the pyramid. I'm trying to say that their shafts under the pyramids could be like a ground. So basically, it's like a power plant. And it's using that as a grounding. When you like ground something electrically.
Well, those shafts are big enough, and it's got those coils that go around the outside that look like they could be a staircase, and so it could be all kinds of stuff down there.
Yeah.
If that's what it is.
I was looking into that a little bit. I came across this in 2016, October 2016. This minister, Kazim Finyan, was at and what he is, he's like the Secretary of Transportation for Iraq or something like that. And Transport Minister of Iraq is what he is. But he was having a press conference. And during this press conference, he's quoted as saying, Perhaps many of the people of the Daikar government don't know that the first airport to be built on planet Earth was 5,000 years ago, before the Christian era, and it was built here in Dakar.
Yeah.
When the Sumerians settled here,
Yeah.
when the Sumerians settled here, they knew full and well what the atmosphere was suitable for flying to outer space. It was from here the Sumerian spaceships took off towards other planets. He said that in a press conference.
Yeah. Well, he's not the only one that thinks that. So,
Well, and this kind of goes into what I was telling Tom last week. Sitting here in America, us sitting here, just as Americans, how much of our real history has just been plain censored from us?
well, I think we inadvertently did a lot of that ourselves because, like, North America seems to be the only place where there's no kind of pyramid. And I think what must have happened is, like, as we moved across, we just disassembled them because we thought, it's they just piled up some rocks. We disassembled them and repurposed the rock, and we just tore them down because they're. I mean, there's so much land there had to been because every other place on the planet with that much land, there's pyramids.
Yeah.
So I think that inadvertently through exploration, people didn't know what they were looking at, just tore stuff up and didn't even make a note of it.
Makes you wonder what was the catalyst? What was the what was the forgetting?
It could have been the flood.
They do refer to the floods because that wasn't the only flood. There's been many
Yeah,
as great resets.
Yeah. Or yeah, like what do you call it, Tom? What was it, the Younger Dryas or whatever event? That could have been it because everything would have been
the Younger Dryas.
Everything would have been messed up, and although it had his word of mouth, and then after 2 or 3 generations, those are just stories, and they're all sitting around trying to rebuild stuff and not worried about the old stories.
Well, perfect example is what was that not Mad Max. I don't think it was a Mad Max. Maybe it was a Mad Max where he comes across the kids that live by themselves. Was that a Mad Max movie or was that?
I think that was at the end of maybe the second one.
Yeah, where it comes and they were like telling the story of the pilot and the plane crashing.
Yeah.
And it had become like a mythology.
Yeah. They had weird names for them, and
yeah.
So
that's a perfect example.
Well, it's like that island with those natives that haven't been experiencing any kind of other culture themselves on that island, and they saw an airplane and they built idols shaped like an airplane and trade to it. And
right.
I mean, if you don't have somebody telling you about these things anymore, you just
make it up yourself.
Yeah, you got to make up a story to explain it.
And see, one of these things I was
there's some islands outside of there are some islands in India that have native tribes on there, and like you're not allowed to go to their island because if you go out there,
that's what I was talking about. Yeah, those are the ones that make idols of airplanes and things and boats and things that they see that they don't know what they are.
And see, that's one of the things I was reading. The Anunnaki, part of their agenda are these religions.
Well, yeah, because it keeps everybody at each other.
Yeah, and it's not just one religion. It's all of the religions.
And I've always felt like religion was a big social experiment that was meant to keep us messing with each other instead of looking outside.
Keeping you in check, giving you a rule book.
Yeah, because we are like, oh, this is how you're supposed to live. And there was somebody else is like, no, I already know. I'm told by this person how to live. And so you're going to argue, and then you're going to go back and forth and, for centuries.
Right. And it just starts fitting. It just starts making sense to me.
Well, it's kind of like the Tower of Babel thing, it's meant to confuse the people.
Yeah. Well, it's a strategy now. We watch it playing out. I mean, just
they do it with right and left in our country.
Yeah. Black and white, black, white, yellow. Colors. We're divided by color. We're divided by, tradition. We're divided by all these things. We're divided by political preference.
Yeah. Well, and this might be a slightly controversial thing to say, but when they started pushing the word diversity at people as a way to like group together and be strong, I'm thinking, okay, well, diversity's root word is division. So why shouldn't you be pushing unity and forgetting all the differences?
They change the meanings of stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
and make it mean something else, just like the word woke. I'm sorry, last time I knew that meant you were awake.
Well, I mean,
And now it means you're a snowflake.
yeah, yeah,
What? Yeah, they change the meanings of stuff for their
yeah,
agendas.
yeah.
And that's all part of this plan. It's all part of this strategic plan. And we see it played out in Sitchin's book.
Yeah, because the gods played the humans against each other all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me.
And yeah, like Marduk was a big one. He was always putting his people against the other gods.
Mm-hmm.
He's my favorite one, though. I have
Marduk.
to say, yeah, he's a troublemaker.
And again, even if we could be dealing with their descendants, but we don't know. We don't know if maybe they lived, although 500,000 years would be a long time to live.
Well, if we look at, like some of these old gods from back then, like Baal and Moloch and Baphomet and all that stuff, like, and then we, you take into example, like WikiLeaks exposed emails from the government where they're talking about these gods, and the Bohemian Grove where they worship these gods. And then have you looked into the Statue of Liberty, like what that symbolizes?
I have heard things, but I've not really. I'm gonna look it up right now.
The one that gets me the most is that it's modeled after the ancient god called Sol, just SOL, and then it's Statue of Liberty, and it looks like Sol. And I don't know, like if you look into it, like there's a whole bunch of stuff about that like changes. It just changes the whole statue for you.
Sol Invictus.
Yeah, that's it.
And Sol Invictus is what they call the leaf crown.
The laurel?
Yeah.
Let's call it laurel.
Roman god. Okay, yeah. Sun god of the late Roman Empire, Sol Invictus, along with Libertas, the Roman goddess and the personification of liberty.
It looked to me like another one of those in your face things, because the Statue of Liberty is just an acronym for soul,
Have we not already been proven that kind of thing goes on all the time?
Yeah.
How many documentaries do you have to watch regarding the Rosicrucians or the who are they? See, this is where my brain stops. Who'd the Rosicrucians turn into?
The Rosicrucians?
And then it starts with an I. They were protectors of the
Uh-oh.
I can't think of the word.
Yeah, it happens to me a lot.
The Inquisition?
No, that's a thing. These were people.
I don't think you're talking about the Illuminati.
Yes, I am.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. See how we think that's funny? See Tommy laughing?
It's not the Inquisition?
That is what they've done. That's every time that's what they've done to that word. When you say Illuminati, people start laughing because they've made that word a joke.
Yeah, well, they made it. Do you know they made it turn it into a card game in the 90s?
Probably.
Why did I have a bunch of them somewhere, and it's weird because it like predicts things.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The pictures, the art on it. I showed Tom. Yeah, like the pictures on it are all like it predicted COVID. It predicted Hillary Clinton running for president. It predicted all
it's true.
If you want to really make something secret or make
it predicted the towers going down.
Yeah.
You hide it in plain sight. You make it a joke. You make it a movie. Movies aren't real.
Yeah, because then everybody will think you're stupid for thinking it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But then if you watch or read other things, you're going, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, you just kind of become a laughing stock because, oh, what are you talking about? That old stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
It's like, no, actually, I'm not talking
look
about
at
the
it.
stupid stuff
Yeah, you need to look
because
at it for real.
I am talking about what it really is or what it was in the beginning and what it possibly could be now. Because, when I was talking about those Senate hearings, a lot of that is about how many times on the news or wherever do we have to be told that there's $25 trillion missing out of the US budget and we don't know where the hell it is.
Yeah, and then Hillary shrugs her shoulders and everybody forgets about it. You know, like, oh, I lost $30 billion. Oh, oopsie.
I mean, this stuff,
Hey,
these clandestine operations aren't ran on good looks.
No, but can you imagine if you work for the government and they couldn't account for like $2,000? You'd get fired.
I know. My boss was mad because my numbers were off by $20.
Yeah, like you work at McDonald's, you miss $2 and you're out the door.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, come on, man, come on. But that's how they get their money. The inventory slip says this hammer was $24.
Oh, well, they're talking about auditing the Fort Knox because that's where the gold's all supposed to be, right?
Yes.
Well, if you remember, it's probably been 15 or 20 years ago, but Germany wanted their gold back from us because we store the German gold, and we wouldn't even let them come and look at it to make sure it was still there. I don't think there's any gold in Fort Knox. That's just my opinion.
I don't either.
This demand for an audit disappeared real quick.
It sure did.
Yeah.
There's no gold there.
Not one thing. And yeah.
Another thing that I thought whenever all those cash for gold places and jewelry and all that stuff, I had always had a feeling that was the government doing when they took all the gold eagles from the public, and where the gold just funnels itself back to the government.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they're doing with all this gold, but it's going somewhere. And like you said, if they're still here, they want the gold to go back to their planet.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. See how that circles back?
Yeah.
Why gold? Why gold?
Yeah, if you look at a lot of those little companies like that, like Cash for Clunkers and all Cash for Gold and all that stuff, like they're owned by companies that are owned by the government. Eventually, like 2 or 3 levels down, they're owned by the government, like BlackRock and Vanguard. It's they're funded and owned by government officials.
That's it. And I tell you what, and I'm not trying to be political in any way, shape, or form, but I gotta say that I don't know. I think we watched Elon jump in, man. Wiping, man, jumping in head first. And all of a sudden, we're screeching to a halt.
Yep. Like, they're all scrambling to pick up the apples. He flipped that card over, and they're all like, "Oh my God, what did you do?"
Well, and I agree with that. And I also think he started lifting rocks people didn't want lifted.
Yeah, I think he needs more security personally. But they're on TV bragging about how he's only got about 50 days left, and then they're by statute they're supposed to get rid of him. But apparently there's ways to kind of keep him there through executive action,
which I think that's an interesting development in of itself.
Yeah.
But it's like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
What do you think of Stephen Greer?
I don't know the name.
Okay, he's behind all the Senate hearings. He's the one that briefs the presidents when they come into office. He's briefed 3 presidents now.
So he does all the classified stuff and
all the UAP.
Yeah, this is what we don't talk about.
Yeah,
Trump was saying the other day that we have weapons that nobody knows about, like more powerful than anything anybody else has. So
Stephen Greer says the same thing.
And he must have got the briefing that he didn't get last time.
Or he paid attention this time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, maybe I should listen this time.
Yeah, I better take notes.
Yeah, that's what Greer says. Greer says he's like, and here's the thing, you walk such a great line because number one, I'm shocked the man's still walking, that he hasn't been taken out.
Well, if he's giving away the information, they would be looking for him.
I don't know. I think they just keep trying to vilify him. I think they just keep trying to make him crazy.
Well, that's what they did. There was one guy, I forgot what his name was, but he used to tell a story about how he was doing construction in maybe it was New Mexico, I think, where they had the underground. They're building an underground base, and he's hit by his story. They tunneled into an area where the Greys live underground, and they were angry and they attacked him, and he had scars and stuff that were all jacked up, and he said that was because from their weapons or whatever, and he barely got out of there alive, and it killed a bunch of the people who went down there with him, and he went around.
Was this a bald guy? He kind of looked kind of. I think I may have seen that.
He's portly. I don't remember about if he had hair or not, but he's kind of a big guy.
I think I've seen that.
And yeah, and he went around for a while, telling the story and doing seminars and stuff, and people were listening to him, and they kept, the government kept saying, "Oh, this guy's full of crap,"
lunatic. Yeah.
But they eventually found him. If I remember right, they said he committed suicide. I think he strangled himself and then he shot himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
In that order.
Probably. Well, I mean, I'm at that point. It doesn't matter what order. He probably threw himself out the window and landed in a bonfire too.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, if you're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah, I mean, I might not have the details exactly right, but it's close to that.
Yeah. No, I believe that. And that's what I mean. I'm shocked. I think Greer's political connections is why he's alive.
Yeah, well,
has to be.
If he pushes too far or too many people start listening to him, that's when they get tired of you.
Well, they just keep trying to make him crazy. And his whole agenda, though, is to get us involved because he's like, obviously, there's too many agendas that are going to get destroyed. Too many pockets are going to get emptied.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to get.
When like you're saying about Elon, when he upset that U.S. aid, that really triggered them. They all started running around with their hair on fire as soon as he did that, because when he triggered where all the money was going and that it wasn't what it said it was. It doesn't actually aid anywhere.
Yeah.
The only thing it really aids is protests and people's pockets.
Well, I guarantee it's probably aiding a clandestine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. See at Black
project. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when he first got in office, they started selling off government property. They accidentally listed a black site. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, it was like nobody knew it was a government building, and they threw it up, and they're putting it for sale. And somebody threw a fit about it in the government, and it like delisted it immediately. Yeah, because it wasn't even supposed to be known that it was government property.
Wow. I don't know. There's a lot of things are staying though. What? A lot of things are staying. A lot of things are sticking. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure, and I've been telling Tom for a while that I kept feeling like something big was going to change for the way we live, and this is probably the start of it.
I think so.
And I don't know which way. I don't know if it's going to go the good way or if we're all going to get smacked around for a while. I don't know which way it's going to end up.
I mean, have we stopped being smacked around? Did we have a reprieve that I'm not privy to, or what? I mean, it might feel like we've been being smacked around.
Yeah, it's like when they get tired, they just invite one of their friends over.
It just seems like my entire adult life has been nothing but one big smack around.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether who it is. I think now, though, we're seeing a lot we never seen before.
Yeah. Hopefully that's because I think there's a lot more. I think they're slowly, they're putting out the low level stuff, and I think they're gonna pile on because they're saying that there's like apparently big arrests coming for like popular like known names and stuff. But,
on which one? On what things? On what, like the Diddy stuff?
Well, you have those couple of lists there that they seem to have forgotten about, but then they're talking about this is new stuff like with politicians and stuff that I was reading about the other day. They're expecting to get somebody like there's some big person soon they're talking about getting, but they don't really hint at who it is.
Interesting. We'll have to watch that. It won't shock me. I guarantee I won't be surprised.
No, I don't think Republicans or Democrats. Anybody that's been there for more than 10 years probably has their fingers in something they shouldn't have.
Oh, no question. No question. I mean,
So,
who else gets rich from
yeah,
public
so,
office?
I mean, I like some of them, but as far as I care, they need to look at all of them. And anybody did anything wrong, they need to answer for that.
Period. Yeah,
And,
agreed.
and I don't like that Congress makes the rules for themselves. I never did. I think that was probably the worst. The worst thing about the Constitution was that Congress got to make up their own rules. And
Yeah,
there should have been another way to do that.
should always be a third party. Yeah, I don't know.
There is the Article 5, Section 2.
What's that do?
This Constitution were to make their amendment. Basically, legislation can force amendments on them to abide by it. It's like 2 states in convention.
I only caught about half of that.
Yeah, were you talking about states convention?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the states can convene and override Congress and rewrite the Constitution and add amendments as they see fit, but it has to be, I think, what is it, 2/3 of the states, Tom?
Convention, Article 5.
It has to be two. I think it's 2/3 of the states have to convene. But the bad thing about that is they can get in there and they can change anything they want if they do that. So you could end up with, they could erase the whole Constitution and write an entirely new thing that's socialist, and then that's our new Constitution. So
yeah,
it's a big risk to do that.
Well, and you know why that doesn't happen?
Because they can change whatever they want.
I mean, and it's money too.
Yeah.
If a state's going to go against something like that, which is basically the federal government, they're going to lose. I mean, we see it now. They're going to lose money. They're going to lose money.
Yeah, and that's what's got them all worked up about Elon. You know,
Yeah.
He's first time, and you notice they can't keep their hands out of everybody else's pockets. The first guy that's like, "Hey, what's in your pocket?" They're like, "Oh, wait a minute, pal."
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing?
So I was telling Tom last weekend, JC, I'll tell you. Here's my theory with Elon. I don't think Elon's a human. I think he's an alien. I think he's an Anunnaki.
He's different, that's for sure.
Let me tell you that. And this kid that is sewn to his hip.
Oh, X, yeah.
And even goes to the Oval Office and everything. It's not a kid. That's his clone. Did you see? You know he's obsessed with living forever.
Did you see the video where X looked like he might have been telling Trump to be quiet while Elon was talking? I couldn't believe that, and Trump's just like kind of nodding. And
I mean, who gets away with that?
X.
Who gets away with that?
Just one person that I know of.
What are we watching? I mean, that's what I'm saying. When I see that go down, it's like, dude.
Yeah, that was what made me think what's going on there, because it looked like he did say that to Trump, and I'm not sure that he did, but 90%, I'm pretty sure he's talking to Trump.
We all got kids. We know, hell, who knows what he said?
Yeah.
My kids would have totally called somebody out.
Yeah, but he had to know that's the president, and mind your business.
Knowing it's the president, the concept of what that is two different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But who takes their freaking 3-year-old to a press conference?
Somebody who's training them.
Bingo. Bingo. That's what I'm saying. Man, all I know, I don't know. I guess we're never going to know till it goes down. It'll go down one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the end of all this. Like
Bashar says they're staged people, just like Sitchin, just like in the beginning of his books, when everything starts going to crap and they start fighting.
Well, the big fight's going to come up when everybody's tired of this immigration invasion and they start pushing back on it. I think that's going to be the big fight. They try to push those people out of their countries.
Well, according to Bashar, we have craft that are already stationed and watching. And
you know what I thought, and sorry to keep interrupting you. I'm getting
no, that's fine.
There's a, and I forgot. I wasn't very old when I thought of this, but like if aliens never leave the planet, they could like sit inside of clouds or even generate the humidity to generate clouds around their ships, and it'd be like the ultimate camouflage for just sitting in the sky anywhere they want.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
We
just
have video evidence of it now.
Yeah, and you know, they just avoid flight paths and stuff, and they can just sit wherever they want.
Yeah, and they cloak. They cloak. And there's numerous. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got a camera.
Yeah,
There's numerous video evidence for decades of evidence that that's happening. I'll say that.
yeah. I don't remember what put that in my head. When I wasn't too old when I started thinking that, but you know, I started watching clouds because every once in a while, you know, you'll look up and all these clouds are moving around and everything, but then there's a big one that doesn't. It just stays there all day.
Mm-hmm. And it's extra flat on the bottom, and it's like,
it's like, why is that one still there?
Well, and you know, they're saying that what was it? You know, you get on TikTok. As you know, I'm big on TikTok, and got a lot of these love and lighters. These love, aliens are love. They're all love, and they're going to come down and they're going to fix it all. It's going to go so far, but they're not going to let it.
Rainbows out of their fingers.
Right. And Greer's like, and Bashar are both like, you don't want that to happen.
Well, no. Oh, to me, the first thing that occurs, I'm thinking if a civilization has left their planet and made it this far, they didn't do it by waving hi to everybody. They did it by blowing stuff up.
They're here because they don't want us to blow crap up.
Yeah, they've survived every civilization they made, you know, encountered in between.
And if we have this clandestine, I don't even know how to refer to it, clandestine force, okay, of weapons and capabilities that have been spearheaded by ancient Anunnaki and their descendants over the thousands and thousands of years that have been extrapolating this entire thing for whatever benefit their agenda is. These people are here to stop them. We're going to be just like ants running from the log that's been thrown into the fire.
Yeah, we won't even be a second thought.
We don't want anyone to come in, but they're just waiting to see if we're going to handle it. How are we going to handle it? Are we going to recognize it? Are we going to let them have their way?
Yeah.
And that's where everything is today. When you get into the circles and talk to, you know, get the scuttlebutt, that's where a lot of people are at today. It's like, okay, that's what waking up means. That's what waking up means. Are we just going to let this happen? There's a whole bunch more of us. Why are we just letting this happen?
Yeah, well, I think the problem with us is that, you know, whether it's a Anunnaki or somebody else, we're designed to work. So our natural tendency is to put our heads down and pay attention to what's in front of us instead of look around.
Because the dog that bites gets put to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all that does is place another piece into the puzzle that makes sense.
Yeah, just like most animals, they don't look up, they don't look around, they don't put things together, you know, and we're too involved in what's personal to us and what we're doing right now to think about what they're doing way over here or what they're doing behind their backs.
Which they do by design. You know, they make life hard. They make us fighting each other. They make, you know, job working.
They give us this economic system where you can, you know, you owe money constantly and you have to constantly make money or you don't have a good life. So of course you're going to be heavily involved in that because it never ends.
Yeah. And they even decide for you what a good life is.
Yeah.
You know, it just fits. It just fit to me. It just fits.
Well, I've seen another one of those things where they're pushing those little pod containers for people to live in.
Huh.
I think that's crazy. Yeah. It's just like it's almost like a, you know, like a storage trailer.
Yeah.
it's about half that size. It's just big enough for like a tiny bathroom with a shower and a toilet, maybe a sink, and a little space for what they call a kitchen. It's just a countertop with maybe a sink and a cooking area and maybe a storage space, and then a bed and enough room for maybe 1 or 2 chairs and a table. And that's the whole thing. And they're like, this could be your home. It's like, what? No.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, I don't know. I think there's many facets of it. But it's interesting what I'm finding as far as my path goes. It's interesting how spirituality is starting to enter the mix. It used to be, when I was doing videos about this kind of stuff back in 2015, it was all conspiracy. And so many things that I did videos on have come to light.
Yeah. Well, it's just crazy that you'll start to put something together now, and you'll say something, and like 6 months later, 9 months later, it's on TV, and it's like something that you're either right on or really close to it.
Yep. At least know about it. So you can't help but think it's real.
Yeah. So the next time you come up with something, you're putting something together, you're like, well, it might be the last couple things were right.
That's what I told Tom last week. I've seen enough crap. I don't guffaw at anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, we'll see. Because, they're also saying, and this is my obligatory bringing up Bigfoot in every episode. I have to. It's my job. Allegedly. Okay, so the Anunnaki grabbed these Homo sapiens or whoever was whatever, spliced them, made us to be workers. But there were groups of individuals, entities that escaped.
Yeah. Well, Gilgamesh had his big hairy buddy Enkidu.
How many stories do we have like that? A ton.
Yeah, and it's not just our country. We have Bigfoot, but then there's a Wendigo, Sasquatch, the Yeti, the abominable. The abominable.
And Bashar, he says that. He says that today. He talks about Bigfoot, or what you call Sasquatch is what he says. What you call Sasquatch, that's what this being is. That was who was here. That was who got spliced.
Oh, okay. I didn't think of that.
And they have avoided us because to them, we're the representation of the invaders. We're the dirty ones.
Yeah, and I was thinking because I think they're mostly spotted around states that have like cave systems and stuff. So that might be why we don't see them as much if they hide out in caves and they can get underground.
I think we see them more. I think we're encroaching.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much room underneath the surface of the earth. Who knows? I mean, it'd be harder. It'd be just as hard to explore as the ocean. We really don't know what's under there.
Do you guys ever watch what is that show on Discovery? Is it Finding Bigfoot? Because there's 2 shows and one of them I don't like. Hang on, let me look.
The one with Bobo is kind of silly.
That's the one I don't like.
Yeah.
It's the other one.
Beating up trees with baseball bats.
Okay, it's not Finding Bigfoot. Finding Bigfoot's that one. What's the other one? God damn it.
Yeah, we used to make fun of that Bobo guy quite a bit.
I encourage Expedition.
Bobo?
Expedition Bigfoot. I encourage you to watch that one.
I have to look.
Expedition Bigfoot.
Is it that Josh guy or is it somebody else doing that?
No, he's not even involved. At least with the show. I don't know if he's involved in production or not. But that gal they've got on there, Maria Mayor, she is a renowned not paleontologist, primatologist. And she's on the team. Then they've got like the survival guy on the team. And then they've got, they've got people on their team as representative of a piece of science. Like, they've got the survival guy, he tracks. They've got the primatologist. She's the science of it. She's going to tell you if what you're seeing could be something else. Bryce Johns, he's like the one that gets them. They get drones. They get all. I'm telling you, there's many seasons. There's 6 seasons, I think. And I'm telling you, last season they are encroaching.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the stories, these older stories, like around especially the Upper West Coast, those
the Pacific Northwest.
They're very convincing stories, and those people are absolutely believe them. And I mean, I think there's something to it. It's been going on for so long. I think there's something to it.
Yeah, watch. There's a YouTube channel called Flash of Beauty. You can't. I mean, yeah, it's got to be something to it. Got to be something to it. Well, Alex thinks he has activity on his property.
Yeah, he said that before. He sent some pictures of some stuff he thought was weird.
Yeah. We want to have him on and talk about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he likes to talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, it's. What'd you say, Tom?
I had nothing. The system here is kind of messed up here. I don't know why. That's why
you're not skipping around right now.
No, you're good.
Well,
now.
that's good.
You were cutting out.
Yeah. Sing your song,
yeah.
Man. But yeah, do check that out, Expedition Bigfoot. It's very impressive what their findings are.
I don't have a show to watch right now anyway.
Very impressive what they have. Call this a show.
Well, my thing is I didn't get to say much, but that's because I was having technical difficulty. So I don't know if maybe I need to reset the router or something.
No, you're doing great now. You every other time you talk, it cut out, but it is not at all now.
Yeah, figures. At the end of the show, it'll work.
It could just be your Wi-Fi.
No,
not your Wi-Fi, but internet.
A lot of the stuff I really liked it.
Yeah, I got the fiber. JC's probably got fiber too.
Yeah, we finally did.
Yeah. You gotta push for the fiber, Tom. Tell him you need the fiber.
Call him up and tell him to give it to you.
It's for sales. It's the black hole of technology. I'm in the black hole of technology.
The black hole of technology.
Well, that's the way it was here. Google came within 5 miles of our house and said they weren't coming any further. So we had to wait for another company to come over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Which they just bled off Google. So that was stupid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what we did too. We've had fiber up here for a while now. I think 8 years or so now.
Yeah, that's longer than we've had it.
Yeah.
We're
only because
we're
the
supposed
government
to have fiber, but the thing is, yeah. Well, basically in this house, they had the router top of the refrigerator. It just laying there, wasn't hooked up to the wall. Or finally got them to hook it up to the wall. Then the internet got better on or my Wi-Fi started acting better. Everything. And I've been told that's probably because of vibrations from the refrigerator itself. But I might have to go into and see if I can't find one of those booster to boost the signal up here because I'm on the second floor. But I mean the bloom of our network here in the house should extend in here because I played D&D on the computer and never had a problem.
What you need to do is what I did, and you need to hardwire yourself to the router. You can get a cord long enough.
Yeah.
Our router's at the front door, the opposite end of the house.
It'll be a much better connection.
And I got an Ethernet cord. I bought a 50-foot Ethernet cord, and I just wound that sucker all the way.
We got a couple really long ones if you need one. Because Aubrey's job.
They're only like $20. You can get one on Amazon. That makes a big difference.
We got some really long ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, man. Well, You guys hang out a bit. Thanks for watching our show. Who knows what we'll talk about next week or who we'll have on next
Hopefully, I'll
week.
be able to say more next time.
We'll get Tommy's situation going. Anyway, stay mysterious.